Wait for some people to get in here. First live in a while. Um, Wait for some people to get in here. See what people want to talk about. Some more for and just so you guys know, that backlight's gonna have to stay on because that's the only light for the garage. It's one of the dimmer lights. But I have a light down here facing on my face. Hopefully, this is a better kind of setup. I know that kind of being in focus and having a light in your face is better than having a light behind you. So I've kind of changed the setup here. But kind of wondering what you guys want to talk about today. But kind of can't speak. Kind of wondering what you guys want to talk about. But we talk traps, we talk scent, we talk some animals if you want. I already got some animals. Got two muskrat and two nutria. Yesterday, you saw the video. It came out around midnight last night. I thought I had one. Trap was ended up getting set off. Hey, hit outdoors, Mike. Outdoor Mike. Thought it set off. Went over there. I was kind of hiding from some golfers because it's on a golf course. I went over the road, got down into the creek and hid, and waited for the golfers to hit the golf balls. Then in between rounds of golf, where people come, one group goes, another group goes. In between the groups, I went over there and checked. Ended up getting wet because I went the wrong way because I was too worried about people seeing me. Where at the golf course, my dad was like, you know what, you should have went the other way. And I was like, well, Dad, you told me, to be careful of the people seeing me. So I went that way, got wet, checked the trap. It was sprung and empty. So you saw that on my last video. I know I got some comments about why are you luring the set when it's main channel or you don't need to lure the set at all. Well, kind of the idea behind luring that set was so the creek goes like this. It comes down, right? Or it comes down and goes this way. There's a trap here. But when it comes down, goes this way, there's a little teeny off channel that goes out this way. And where water just kind of flows in from out far away in another spot, and there's a trap there, and that's where I lured it. Just hoping to get the rats away from the 280 so we can keep it for big animals. But we think maybe a rat set the 280 off that you saw in the main channel. It goes that way, and or debris. But we went and checked today. I wasn't out there. Well, I guess my dad checked. I wasn't out there, but my dad went and checked those, and there's nothing there. But over on the pond, the Blyle 220 was set off. Apple was ripped off and laying above it. So the Blyle was in the water, right? Partially submerged with that much showing, with the apple, just a little bit of apple showing. And it was set off, and the trap was up on land where it was staked. So we think a raccoon reached in there, pulled on it, pulled it up, and it set off. But somehow the raccoon got out of it. And what we think happened, based on what my dad told me about the trap, is there's a stick in there. So what happened is a stick set it off, and then he pulled his arm through. And that trap was not actually staked with sticks. It was actually staked with an H stand. So that stick came from someone else. And it was actually up on the bank. So we think the raccoon reached around with his hand and grabbed the apple and pulled it off. So my dad reset it today without the apple on it. Personally, I would set it with the apple because I want the raccoon, but I'm out there. We can't have an animal struggling in a trap on a hole where people will see it because we don't want to have that issue. We have permission from the landowners, well, my dad's one of the bosses out there. So, I mean, someone's going to complain. They'll be like, oh, someone's out there trapping. They'll turn around and be like, well, you know what? That's one of the bosses out there trapping. So they'll basically shut the person down. Yeah, so we were out there. We have permission. It's the only thing you've been seeing is the only entrance and exit of the property with water flowing. So whatever comes in will get caught. Whatever goes out gets caught. And that spot has taken a 50.5 pound beaver last year and took one of the biggest otters in the 280 there. One of the biggest otters that the taxidermist has ever seen. He bought the biggest mount molding it. You see they had to take clay and beef up the legs, beef up the body because the skin was so big that it wouldn't fit the biggest molding by. It was the biggest otter the taxidermist has ever seen. And that is actually sitting in my house on the above the TV on the what is that? Entertainment center. I don't know the weight of it, can't remember. It's up there though, it's big. It's big. We have 2 other otter pelts over in the house there. We have pelts all over the house. And it's funny because when I take a girlfriend or a friend in the house, it's kind of funny because I'm like, just a heads up, there's animal pelts in the house. Don't freak out, because it's kind of like walking in a museum. There's deer antlers, there's pelts, there's all kinds of things. And yeah, there's caribou up above the entrance of the house. There's deer up there. There's a jackalope, of course, the funny little jackalope that was bought like 20 years ago. Anything you guys want to talk about? Anything you want to see? I haven't been on in a while. So I know one of the videos you guys saw was me up in the forest at one of the trap spots 2 hours away. That's where I saw the elk and the mountain beaver. Mountain beaver aren't beaver. They look like a little mole or vole. They look like a little muskrat that live up in the mountains. And what the mountain beaver do, they're native to Oregon, and they do is they rut out on the ground and eat all the roots. So like if new trees, so new trees will be planted and they eat the roots. They kill all the roots. And that therefore kills the trees, so they get rid of them. A lot of the loggers will have trappers in their non-regulated species, so you don't have to have a license to trap the mountain beaver. Mountain beaver are one of the main food sources in Oregon for bobcat, and that's why we have so many bobcat. And they're great little food source, but they're terrible for the trees. The loggers hate them. They will actually have people come in and trap all the mountain beaver, and they'll be top of the mountain, and the mountain will be like this steep, literally like you walk like as steep as a logger can log, about as steep as they come, and they will go walk and set the traps in the holes, and then they'll get them. But yeah, so that's one of the things about mountain beaver. It's kind of cool. Judith and Dan was like, mountain beaver, that's awesome. Never seen them before, and then I posted a video. This is the first live chat of yours that I have caught. Yeah, I normally live chat between family being here, and the schedule changed for family. So now they'll work. One of the family members is asleep. The other family member's at work until 11 o'clock at night. It's 7 right now. Well, 5, 6 o'clock, something like that. But they work till 11 o'clock at night, so I got some time now. Times have changed. I love catch bobcat. Yeah, I know. I told my dad about you, and I watched you on the Facebook and your Linden bobcat pee. I got to get some of that stuff. But Linden is definitely one of my favorite lures. When it comes to waterproof, I know especially muskrat, because it's a Vaseline base, I assume, which it's not that hard to figure out it's Vaseline base when it's distorted. It's like Vaseline. It's one of the older techniques of making lures, but the Vaseline base on the muskrat lure is good when it rains, because it doesn't wash off or doesn't wash away. How many bobcat are you allowed in your area? That I would have to ask my brother, because my brother does the bobcat trapping. That's his ordeal. I have my license. I trap the water animals and the raccoons. He does the bobcat, stuff like that. Not sure, but I don't think there is actually a limit in Oregon. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think there's a limit. Love the vids. Thank you, Coon Slayer. I haven't seen you on my channel. Appreciate you viewing and coming in and hanging out. Their bobcat super alt call is excellent. Yeah. We put some of it in the, actually got some, but we put it in the, I got to get more of it, let's put it that way. But we put it in cages last year and ended up getting a bobcat. So I don't know how many of you guys are on my Instagram, but my Instagram is Anthony Rubio _outdoors. My Anthony Rubio Outdoors all one, I lost access to. It has about 1,000 subscribers. On there, I post a lot of pictures of catches, different things. Not everything makes it to YouTube, but it's definitely on Instagram. And yeah, so where is it going with this? I just post more on there, but I'll call. So I posted about the bobcat. I posted a picture of bobcat on there that we got on a trail camera up in the forest. Same place that you saw the or last video where I was looking at the mountain beaver trap after I was done clearing a trail. The clearing the trail video I think came out today, but I was done clearing a trail, videoed that a little bit what I was doing there. Went over and talked about the mountain beaver trap that my brother found a few years ago that was on we put on the log. Then heard the elk, but the elk go in there, the mountain beaver, or not the mountain beaver, but the elk, the bobcat go in there. We saw the bobcat there. Here's the thing about where the traps on here you're seeing out there today. We got told by one of the crew members that he saw 2 bobcat walking together. So we know one out there, but now there's 2. One was small, which we know about the small one. All the members like it, so we're not going to kill it, obviously. If people are paying good money to golf out there every year for membership, we're not going to kill something that's going to make them come pay. It's just not going to happen. There's actually 2 out there. There's a big one out there now. Are you going to run in the canine line this year? For me, no. I'm not going to run a canine, but we will be running cages for bobcat. I'm not going to be doing any coyotes. We got a bunch of coyotes out here. All coyotes we're in Oregon. They are considered Western coyotes, but they're not considered Western prime coyotes because I'm on the west side of the Cascades, which the Cascades are the ones like Mount St. Helens, all the Ring of Fire, basically. On the east side of it, they have snow and they're prime, but we on our side, they're not prime, so I won't be running canines. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't post pictures of canines on Instagram. I have tons of pictures on Instagram of canines and on trail cameras. But if I can get one to go into a bucket, I'll try. Now, honestly, though, do I really think I'm going to get one to go in the bucket? Probably not. I have a better chance at a bobcat, but I'll try. I'm going to go put them up there where the bobcat is out in the forest. So, which is, of course, probably possible. What we were really doing out there when I filmed the elk in the trap and clearing the path, what we were doing is we got landowner permission to take weed eater, cut the grass that was like knee length high, all the shrubs and brushes, and we got permission to cut it down flat, and then we got permission to spray it. When we get some dry weather, we're going to spray it and kill it. So there's actually the road that goes in there is actually clear. So, and I'm not gonna be videoing walking in on around that stuff, because what happened with that spot is the state of Oregon has red gates for public hunting, and the owner, before the state changed to red gates, the gate there is red, so we have problems with trespassing. And it is in fact a private spot, and it is in the middle of nowhere, but we're having problems with people trespassing. So I'm not going to film much of it. I'm going to just film the traps and stuff like that, because I don't want people figuring out, oh, well, he's in there, he obviously has permission. We even put up or he's going to there's obviously public land. We even put up no trespass signs. There's like 6 no trespass signs right in the entrance where you turn in, and people still don't care. We put one right on the gate, a 10 by 12 right on the gate. People still trespass. It's ridiculous. We have trail cameras up, and we got pictures of them on trail cameras. Last year, they put the gate up, and the state didn't change the color of the gates. They didn't repaint them, and we did not have trespassing problems. And it's kind of ridiculous because my brother killed an elk in there. There's a lot of elk in there, and we watched the people trespass on the camera, and we watched the elk get spooked out of there when the people walk through. But when the people aren't walking in there because they walk around loud, the elk are actually in there. We pulled the truck in and stopped. Once we get into the clear cut and look over, and the elk are 50 yards away from us. The herd of them are there. But since people start walking in there, they're not there anymore. They're back in the forest, back away, and we have problems with people now. And they think they're hunting, but they're actually spooking the elk around. They're not being quiet, and they're not doing it properly. My way my brother does it, he sits in a blind, waits for them to come to him. He doesn't chase them, and therefore when he doesn't do that, so they come out. He had a big, I think 4x6 come right out in front of him. He shot with a bow this year. We have, let's see, where was I? We have to use cages for coyotes on public land in Arizona. No photos on public land here. Make sure that cage for cage for coyotes. I need to find some private land to trap and to catch coyotes. Yeah. The thing about out here is in Oregon, it's nice, but we have a huge obstacle that they're trying to pass right now, and they're trying to pass a thing that ban all hunting, fishing, and trapping. Anything that hurts the animal, killing them whatsoever, they're trying to ban it. So you can't fish, you can't trap, you can't hunt. They're trying to ban it all right now in Oregon. I don't think it's going to fly. The only problem that I see potentially happening is peer pressure, but from protests and all that garbage. But I mean, because a lot of people are getting peer pressured into making decisions now, so it's kind of becoming a mess. That's the only way I can see it passing. But no, are you going to run a beaver line this year? Heck yes, beaver, absolutely. We already have. We already walked through the property. There's damage there already. Farmers texting us, hey, when are you going to get traps out? When are you going to get traps out? We are going to get the beaver traps out in December. So December comes around. So it's probably going to be after December 10th, because December 10th is actually my birthday. So we're probably going to do it after that, but I can't guarantee that. My brother drives around. My dad goes with us, and I go. And my brother wants to take a little break because he just got done hunting with my dad, hunting multiple spots himself. So he's going to take a little break. So anywhere, somewhere in December, we're going to get the beaver line out, and we're definitely going to do the beaver. I'm going to do some raccoon. We're going to do beaver. We're going to do muskrat. We're going to try to get an otter. That's what we're going to do. So mostly muskrat, otter, beaver. We're going to get nutrias. It's just the way it is. They're dumb animals. They clog all your traps, no matter what it is. So no matter what happens, they're going to clog them. They are just due. What's up, yo? Not much, GT. How's it going? My problem with I'm gonna go right here real quick. I'm gonna grab some dry pelt. So now my issue here, right? Oh, here's a not a Bobcat, but a Nutria. Got that off just fine. Little hole in there, not too bad. But this one came out fine. This muskrat, right? Came out fine. It's kind of funky. I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to keep it for myself. If it's going to sell it, I'll clean it up. As you see, it's a little funky, but the face is fine. Well, I don't have wedges, and I didn't buy them and I can't afford them right now, so I have no wedges, so I'm using rebar. But so I went to pull this one off, this muskrat off, and rip the face off. So all that work, no holes, no nothing, no holes whatsoever in the pellet. Got just fine. Went to pull it off the board, pulled on the face a little bit, slowly work the edges up, try to get it, put the rebar up in here to loosen it a bit. The reason I can't put the rebar is because if I put the rebar, it's too high and the stand won't sit right, and I have taps on the side, so if I lay it down, it won't work either. But went to pull it off, rip the face off. Oh well, you know what? I'm not selling my furs anyway, so big deal. But actually, if you go to my Instagram, there I keep as much as I post my catches there, I also keep, that's my statistic board. I keep track of everything. I think I had one Nutria that was I think it was this one that was 6 pounds right here, and the other one up here, I'll grab that one right here. This is a lot bigger. I had to put this one on the raccoon board, as you can see. This one was 14.6. The difference in sizes is quite a bit different here. So I think you guys can see that, right? I know that I pinned the comment there, so I can't see the full screen, but it's quite a bit of difference there in size. But yeah, so that's what we picked off at the golf course. 4 animals so far. We had a sprung trap today, and we had a spring trap yesterday. Early in the video, you saw that I talked about, we think the raccoon grabbed the apple, pulled the trap up, and it got caught in their arm. A stick on it, and they pulled out of the belial. If that stick was there, the animal would have stuck in the belial. Guaranteed, because the belial is a complete closer. I'm excited to see the beaver line, yes. Beaver line is my bread and butter. I love it. Appreciate you being here, and can't wait to see your comments on the videos. They did that with the deer hunting a long time ago, and it destroyed the forest up in Oregon. Deer population was out of control. Then they brought it back, and brought it back, and it got sorted out. Pretty good, brother. Got a 50-pound beaver the other day. I'll try for Jay's beaver. Awesome. I was tempted to put some beaver lure out, but I'm like, at this spot, it's the only entrance to exit. So if I put some there, it's not doing me any good. I mean, if they're gonna come in, they're gonna get caught. If they're gonna go out, they're gonna get caught. So, yeah, I like Chopper J's beaver lure. Something about the Chopper J's beaver lure that I've always liked, or just about beaver lure in general, because back when I was starting trapping back in 2013, 2012, 2013, one of the beaver lures that my dad's friend made, it was mint, poplar. There's multiple types of mint. I think there's spearmint and peppermint, and there's poplar oil, and there's castor, and there's castor sack, and then a few other ingredients in there. And I've always been drawn to the mint and castor smell, just because mints are overall attracted to everything, and castor attracts everything. So you have 2 major attractants in there in Chopper J's lure. If I tell you what Chopper J's lure smelled like, if you ever smelled wintergreen Copenhagen or wintergreen Grizzly, doesn't matter if it's pouches or whatever, the chew, it smells identical to that. So much so that I smelled it and almost made myself sick. I got sick on a wintergreen Grizzly once, so I could smell it and it almost made me sick. But it's gonna be a killer. I know so because it's mint and castor, and there's some other stuff in there. So I'm definitely buying more. I just got to get some money round up. Right now, dirt broke. I think I have like $4 in my bank account right now. So, so I have nothing in there right now. I can't get the boards. I can't get the stands. I can't do anything right now. I'm dirt broke right now. But that's what happens when you're ordering stuff. But yeah, doubt they will ban it again. Yeah, I doubt it. They've been trying to change trapping laws in Oregon, doing all this stuff for years. It's never passed. We use 1/2-inch dowels for muskrat, and lathe strips on Nutria. They're a pain to get off the boards. Yeah, with the Nutria, we put, I think I have a 30-inch rebar, and I put one in the front, one in the back, and I tacked it, and then tacked it and tack or nail, and the nails held it in there, and it dried. But the Muskrat had a little bit of a problem. His face got ripped off, but next time I'm going to try to tack them out. You know how you put the tack here and tack here on the side, there and there? I'm going to try to put one in the front and in the back so I can lay it down sideways and put the 30-inch rebar on like a 24-inch board and dry it that way and see if that makes a difference. But, oh well. I'm not selling them, so it's, not that big of a deal. It's still, you know what? I still got the pelt, and the pelt is what I like. I've still got the fur, so I'm happy. That is an awesome lure. Yeah, it's an awesome lure. And, anybody can make a lure. It's not because it's Trapper J to me. It's because the ingredients that I can smell. That's what I like. It's just personal preference of mine. It's something that, it's like nostalgia. If you ever growing up, back in the 80s or 90s, you played certain video games, right? And then all of a sudden you find again when you're an adult, it's like, gosh, I want to play it so bad. This nostalgia going back to your childhood. That's kind of what it's like. But going back to my beginning of the trapping career, it's nostalgia for me. It works. We killed Mondo beaver with the mint poplar and caster. It just whacked them. That's most trappers this time of year. We are all pro for buying traps. Yeah, but here's the problem. I got more I need to buy. So I'm just sitting here like, stuck. But you know what? It is what it is. That's what we got so far. So we got two rats. I think the light, I need to tilt the light down a little more. Actually, I think is that better? So I got two rats, two Nutria, so that's it. So, and the rats here are small apparently because they are not to the bottom of the board, and they're only weigh from 1.6 pounds to 2.6 pounds. When rats get up to 4.4 pounds, so they're actually on the small side. I thought I had big rats, but on the small side. Although last year I did get some really average size rats, average length, but man, they had so much extra skin on the side of them, on their gut, it was ridiculous. Really, really fat rats. And what I do is I measure from tip of the nose to the tail on the belly side, and get weight, and then I go online and compare it. And two of the rats were one rat was on the smaller length, or middle of the road length, on the smaller weight, so it was underweight. The other rat was a little bigger in length, but still a little more weight, so about 2.5 or 2.8, whereas the other one was 1.6. So they're a little more healthy, but not as healthy. So the rats around here are a little hungry right now, from what I can understand from doing the math on that stuff, and it's kind of guesstimating always. Yeah. Let's put these pelts back. That's what we got so far. Not too bad. I'd actually put the big Nutria on the big board, on the big raccoon board, the jumbo raccoon board, and the other one was on a little raccoon board, normal raccoon board. What traps do I use for beaver? So here's the thing about beaver. I run a small line. I run a dozen and a half to 2 dozen traps. So what I started out with was Duke. Because I've been accused of being like an elitist because of the traps I use. Started out with Duke, Bots and Bridges. Now I use Belial, Savage Joe, and RBG. So mostly top of the line traps because I don't run a big line. Now if I was doing something like Iowa Trapper, who does a coon line and does a long line, a huge line, 1,000 traps, I would be doing all Duke. There's no way I could afford all Belials. Dukes are just as good of a trap as Belials. Now, one thing about the Belials that I like is they're magnum closers, so they completely close, they catch everything, and they're powerful. That's the only thing really makes a difference. And the lockup on them is good. So, and then the RBGs are good because they're ran by a good company. They're a good trap. They're heavy duty. Their trap itself is not a lot of pitting, or it's not a cheap steel where it like pits and rusts over, and like when it rusts, the metal chips off. It's solid American steel. So RBGs are good. The Savage Joes are good. Avoid the 220 Savage Joes. The springs on them or the trigger on them is absolutely a joke. I can just go like this and bend it. It's flimsy as heck. Absolute worst 220s I've ever bought. But problem is I bought 12 of them, so I'm stuck with them, and I'm not going to resell them because they're Savage Joes and can't get them that easy down here. What was that? And then the leg holds I use are No BS Beaver Extremes. That's what I use for them. I used to use Minnesota brand 750s. Now I use the No BS Extremes. The majority of my beaver trapping is Conibears. It's a Conibear show up here. It's about a 5 foot wide ditch, about anywhere from 3 foot to 2 foot up to 7 foot over the bank. So, or 5 foot over the bank. So it's all Conibear show here. And we got some big beaver in Conibears. One kid on Instagram compared me to 330 Maniac. He was like, "You're the best beaver trapper next to 330 Maniac that I've ever seen trap beaver." And so I was like, "Okay, I'll take the compliment." I mean, I'm not complaining. I'll take the compliment. If it is weird to watch a nutria pelt go from pink to black as a dry, yes, yeah, that was weird. You almost think, oh, they're not prime, but in the sense they kind of are prime when they go to black. I mean, that's just the way that they are. It's just weird. Do you want any footholds for beaver? Yes, the No BS Extremes have a half dozen 650s, which I don't run. They're canine traps. When we run them, when my brother runs them, haven't run them in 6 or 7 years, but they just sit there. Yeah, mostly No BS Extremes. Now, I've watched Shooter Than Dan with the Duke 850s, and I have a hard time setting 1.5s. The regular 1.5s I set. The No BS 1.5s are like a beefed up 1.5, which is almost like a number 2. Springs on the number 1. I have a hard time setting because I have small hands. So when I go to squeeze them, I stretch out, and that's how I also got caught in the 220. I went to grab the second bar, and I slipped and caught both hands. So small hands. There's a little bit of damper. I'm 5'4". I'm not that strong. Well, I'm strong, but like it's not easy to set them. So there's no way in heck I'll be able to set the Duke 850. So I got to get setters. Emailed Bill Duke. I talked to some people about getting setters, but I haven't even bought the trap set, so I'm not too worried about getting setters. But if I do the Duke 850s, since they're an 850 and they're kind of a premium trap, premium price, I'm going to put them on a chain drowner and a chain drowner lock because I'm not going to worry about the cable, so I can just reuse it. I'm going to go a little more high quality on the stuff. I can't do I'm not going to do rebar drowners here because the longest I hike in spot I do actually use the leg holds is about a 575 yard walk before I can get into actually to the river to trap. So I'm not carrying rebar 575 yards. That's just ridiculous to even attempt. So I use cable right now. Do you use floats for beaver? Yes. Yep. I mentioned that already. Duke Magnum line of Conibears close with no gap. Yep. See, I still don't picture Duke as a Magnum company because I always thought Duke is like, well, the Dukes we have are non-Magnum. And Duke Magnums, I don't even remember when they came out, but I still picture Duke as non-Magnum closing. Now, would I buy Duke Magnums? Heck yeah. Honestly, yeah, 100%. Now, if the Bridger traps, the experience that I had with them wasn't the experience I had with them with the trigger swinging back and forth like ridiculously a lot, I would be buying the Bridgers in a heartbeat. But the Bridgers 160 I missed the raccoon on it. I was pissed and never buying another Bridger trap in my life. Leg holds I will, but the Conibears, absolutely not. Absolutely not happening. Now, I took the design of the Bridger with the teardrop, took a teardrop to a crunch proof to cable to MB stake in swivel thing, the thing with a little round and swiveling in. So they have 1, 2, 3 swiveling points. I do that on my Glyles, but I basically took the design from Bridger and did that. But I would buy the Bridger. I want to buy the Bridgers. I want to love them. Absolutely want them so bad. But if I can have an animal get out of it and the trigger wiggle back and forth, and that's not good. What happened was I set the trigger. It was stiff. It was set right. But then when I get back and reset it, it wiggles. So right out of the box, they're set right. You know, you don't think there's nothing wrong. They're real stiff. They're proper. Now, when I went back and reset it, the thing wiggled all over. I had to rip it out of the ground. It reset on, bring new traps. It was a mess. What I think happened is either the raccoon put his head in there and bumped it where it wiggles and realized it, and then stuck his hand and got caught. But the trap was there, right? The stand was there. The trap was flung out, flung to the side, and I knew something was in it, and I was pissed because when seeing the raccoon, that was my only shot at that raccoon that year, last year, and I was mad. So never buying Bridger Conibears again. The only way I'll do it is if I take the Bridger Conibear and take the Belial trigger and put it onto the Bridger Conibears, because what that would do is fix the trigger or the trigger system on the Bridger. But why would I buy a Bridger trap if I have to just replace the trigger? It makes no sense. Why don't they just fix the issue? I read about filing the dog, all this stuff. I ended up filing the dog, messing with that, and ended up ruining my trap because they said, "Oh, you need to file more. You need to file more." So I ended up filing more, and then ended up ruining it. And I just threw it away, got rid of the trap. Emailed the company, said there's something wrong with the trap. You know, the trigger's loose. I listed the animal. The company didn't get back to me. It's a big company in Minnesota, and it was not F&T, if that gives you an idea. F&T's been fabulous for me. It was another company there, a big company, and they didn't give a crap about my email. And I was nice about it. I was like, you know, I lost the animal. Something wrong with it. The trigger's all wrong. I sent them a video of it. Sent them 3 videos with proof of everything that happened, from the missing the catch to looking at it in the garage to trying to fix it. They didn't care. They didn't want anything to do with it. So I'll never support that brand again until they fix their issues. But well, talking Conibears, the light holds are good from what I understand. I actually got my hands on some light holds that got sent to me by accident because of a raffle. I ended up sending them out, but they look like fabulous traps. Sounds like a good spot for cages, actually. The which one? The spot where I walk in about 575 yards. Well, what I do is I walk through a little bit of forest, then do a clear cut, and then there's about 375 yards of open field with pucker brush and logs laying down and just grass and all kinds of stuff. And it's a clear cut, but it still has logs through there and stuff. And it is it's not like, it's very, very sparse logs. So it'll be like a stick like this you step on. There'll be a log once in a while. There'll be a single tree in the area. So it's a great spot for a cage trap. But what we end up doing is going through there and backing around and up into the area. And that's where we end up catching them in the bobcat in the cage. Drew and Dan's comparison video on the TSA 5 No 5 850 is awesome. Yes, absolutely. I absolutely love it. My setters came in today. Who made them? Who made the setters? I know Duke mentioned somebody, I can't remember who he mentioned. Hey Matthew, how's it going, buddy? So Matthew is one of my friend's kids, and the kid's an amazing kid. He's such inspiration, and he looks up to me a lot. He's a great kid. Love the kid to death. He's a great kid. Sure, wish I could get CS85s and Rubber Jaw so I could use them. Yeah. See, Rubber Jaw is a bit of I don't want to get into it. I think it's a great idea, but once the rubber is gone, adjust the light a little bit. They got a little bit of a shadow. If that makes it better. Still got a shadow. I think the shadow's my glasses, but yeah, I have to have them. Yeah, Rubber Jaws would be nice. Thank you. Yeah, I love that video, Judith and Dan. It was awesome. It definitely convinced me to get the Duke 850s, but my biggest issue right now is I can't set them. Oh, it could always modify, Marcus. Yeah. I mean, get some old truck tire and somehow mold it around there, and or the walling, not the actual tread, but the wall, of the tire, and put that on there, kind of, and that's what you can use as rubber. What kind of traps do you use? Well, Matthew, if I were to suggest something to you, I use a premium line of traps. It's expensive. What I would suggest to you is looking at Duke traps. They're the best price traps with the best quality, but best quality for the price you can buy. For you, I would look into trapping regulations and all the look at your test. Now, I think you're 9, so I don't know if you necessarily need a license, but here's what I'd tell you. I'd tell you to you and your dad to find somebody that traps. Now, I do a lot of trapping on private property, so I can't take you necessarily. But find somebody that traps. It's not my choice to not bring you on private property. I would, but it's the landowner's issue. He has issues with taking people on there that aren't supposed to be there. Find somebody that traps, or take your test. Tillamook, in Tillamook, ODFW, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife Office. You can take your test there and get it. Now, your dad can take the test too, and you go catch raccoons and all these other animals. They're fun to catch in the Duke brand. There's Duke Conibears. Duke Conibears. Now, for you, I would avoid Conibears. I would avoid light holds. I would go with the thing called a dog-proof trap. It's like a tube with a trigger in it. It's a lot safer to set and be around, especially someone that doesn't have a lot of experience. Conibears are really dangerous. They can break your hands, break your arms, everything if you get caught in them. Light holds, they hurt if you get caught in them. Duke dog proofs are a tube trap for raccoons, possums, and skunks. And only way they're usually set off is if the animal has I don't even know what it's called, but a thumb like humans do that can grab it and set it off. So that's what I would suggest. Duke dog proofs, Duke brand traps. DUKE brand traps. Can't modify traps in any way in Washington. Oh yeah, that's right. Now I put the two and two. You're in Washington, huh? Yeah, you can't do any trapping but cages, I think, unless if you have a wildlife operator's license, which nuisance stuff for the city and stuff like that. That's a way it works down here. You have to have a wildlife operator's license to work in the city. I think it's nuisance stuff there, but anything around here you can do with a license. Now I have a job in North Plains, which is out next town over, but I need a wildlife operator's license, and the guy, it's like $200 per beaver, and it's $200 per beaver. I've heard the pay, and then it's about $100 a day. So, or $200 per beaver, $600 a day. I think I read somewhere. So it's a lot of money, but and you usually set for a week and a half, or 2 weeks, and then you pull them, and then you charge again if they want you to come back. So it's good money, but I got to take the test. I might go take that test this week, actually. So it might be going to my grandparents. So what we talk, yeah, Bridging on 5. Can't use traps in any way in Washington State for wildlife control operation work. Has to be a stock trap. Okay, so I should have read the rest of your comment because you talk about wildlife control operator stock trap. So I run a Bridging number 5 rubber jaw full coil beaver. See, the rubber, for me, in my opinion, rubber jaws doesn't make much difference whether it's rubber or not. Now, trapping beaver, once that light gets around that beaver, he's not going anywhere. So, in my opinion, but I don't have a lot of experience with rubber traps. I just know when you get a good catch on them above the wrist or joint, they're not going anywhere. Oh, look at that. Block this user. Are you gay? No, I'm not. Are you? Are you happy? Because that's what it means, I'm pretty sure. According to old meaning. Hi, Matthew. Okay, is there an upgraded spring for the Bridger you could run, Marcus? I don't know if there is. I don't know. Appreciate the spam, guys, or whoever that. I think I'm succeeding. I'm succeeding. I have spam. See if I can do something here. No, I guess I can't. I'm gonna try to make you a moderator, but it only lets me put you in timeout or blocks you. I can't make you a moderator. It's gonna make you a moderator, GT. GT, if you comment on one of my videos, I'll make you a moderator. Just a 4-coil version is what I can get. Washington laws is crap. Yeah, Washington is a ridiculous state. The laws are ridiculous. Cages for fur trapping and padded jaws. Yeah. CNS sales in Montana. CNS? Who's CNS? CNS. Is that where you bought this? I think I'm getting too far ahead, but that's where you bought the setters, right? Hello, all. Hey, Big Matt. Judith says hello to Big Matt. Hey, Outdoor Mike to Big Matt. What's up, Matt? Hey, hello, Judith and Dan. DukeTraps.com, trap page. That's where you got to go, Matthew. That's that page right there. DukeTraps.com. That's where you got to go. You're going to look for traps. Now, Matthew, you have a fun. Your grandpa actually. I was going fishing one time trying to fish a property, and your grandpa actually kicked me out because I wasn't allowed to be there. But that property, where he works out there in out south of town, that property probably has a lot of animals on it. If the nursery will let you trap them on there, that's a great place to trap if you can get permission. But that's going to be hard. I don't know if they'll let you. They get $350 per beaver removed up here. I do trade work for hunting privilege. Yeah, see, I would do that too, but if I shoot a rifle in the middle of the city, there's going to be mass panic and everyone's going to scream mass shooter, like everyone's going to flip out. Even though it's a hunt outdoors country town, everyone's going to flip out. It's Oregon, like I'm kidding you, but yeah, hunting privilege is an awesome thing to trade. Now, my brother has a lot of access to hunting properties, but the property owner's like, no, we aren't going to allow you to trap. So, that's something we have to deal with. They get $350. The rubber jaws suck, but that's what you have. I mean, it's better than the cage trapping beaver, I'll tell you that much. Cage trap beaver, never done it, but I don't want to even mess with it. That's what they call a certified trapper for the state. Certified. Yep. Although, I'll be honest with you, I probably shouldn't say this. We could technically do it under the table because I know the guy that runs the city, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to the guy. But we could technically do it like under the table, but not going to happen. I'm not going to do that stuff to the city of North Plains, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it. See you, man. Love the cat. The cat. Have a good one. Coon Slayer. Looking for a better Duke link. That one failed. Looking for a better Duke link. All right. You are a moderator, so it should go through. So that's interesting. Coon Creek Outdoors uses a lot of Duke traps. Yes. Matthew, are you still in here, buddy? If you go to Coon Creek Outdoors or Coon Creek Outdoors. Yeah, Coon Creek Outdoors. I was thinking Coon Creek Trappers website. Coon Creek Outdoors on YouTube. Or you go to Iowa Trapper on here and subscribe. They do tons of trapping, tons of road trapping. Now in Oregon, you cannot road trap, but Coon Creek Outdoors does lots of DPs, lots of stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff out there. For the record, Matthew, I think, what is he, 9? I met him when he was 3 or 4. So I met him back in 2013, 14. So I've known him for a while. They have a better price on Duke traps. So here's a link, Matthew, Flaming Traps. Flaming Traps link. They have a better price on Duke traps. So Matthew, later if you remind me, I'll text you a link if you don't have the link through there if you're not here. But Flaming Traps is a good place. They have their own brand of traps is good too. I do like your videos on trapping and how to use them. Thank you, Corey. The thing about videoing right now is I don't have any tripod, so either I lean it on the ground, tilt it up at me, and stop the video, play the video, stop the video, play the video like I'm doing, or I can't film anything. So I'm stuck to doing it all by hand, and I don't have a tripod yet. So right now I literally have it sitting on my charger. And then I have a little light down here. A little light down here, as you can see, that's shooting up at me. Trying to get better light on me. So I think that's worse. But if I go in the other room when I was on people's live feed, I have perfect light, but I'm also below my family that's sleeping, and I talk kind of loud, and I end up waking them up, and they get mad. So don't really want to look forward to a mad family, if you will. That makes sense. So you guys want to see anything? You guys want to see any traps? You want to see anything? You can still put up numbers with the cages, but it's all drowning swim through sets and pinch points and make runs. I make my points and runs. I make my own cages and usually put up 30-ish beaver a year doing this. Yeah. Now, at the same time, I say what I want to do with cages because I have the opportunity to use conibears. But I think cages, if you have numbers, would be awesome. But you gotta also have the depth of water. There's a lot more to it. Sit in a cage, let's say 30 inches by 10 inches or whatever, versus fitting a 10 by 10 trap. There's a big difference there. Midway USA, I heard, has some really great trap prices as well. Yeah. The trap place I'll also send you, Matthew, is Funky Trap Tags. Funky Trap Tags is he's a good guy. He does a lot of stuff. I've talked to Alan a lot. Incredible guy. Actually was doing a raffle. I put my bill me in a different mailing address. He called me, make sure my card wasn't stolen, which I told him, explained what was happening, and we ended up talking for like an hour and a half about Iowa and the Field of Dreams field and how the Yankees are going to play there and all this stuff. This was a couple years ago or last year, but great guy. Ended up getting lost in conversation. Just we talked to him for hours. Great guy. Sorry, I got you, Marcus. You guys want to see some traps? Let's see, what was the one about trap? Let's see. I do like a trap. How to use traps, yeah. Yeah, let's see. Okay, I must have missed something. I missed this part of the comment. I can still put it on, but it's all okay. I thought it said drowning cable, so I thought I missed something. There's Funky Trap Tags right there. Another good place, Matthew. Another good place. Oh, trust me, the cages suck to pack through the brush. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm planning to make my next ones folding ways to pack. Yeah. Yeah. My brother has Tomahawk Bobcat traps, and I told him you need to go to CajunTraps.com and go get the originals because apparently Tomahawk copied that guy's design. I read somewhere. But yeah, that's so CajunBobcat.com has some of the best trailing scent I've ever smelled. Absolutely potent smell. And I can't put, it was like a berry mint, blood. I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like a sweet blood, mint, cherry-ish, super piercing smell. Incredible scent. But now they're like $40 a pint. And let's just say, yeah, it's flipping incredible. Absolutely nuts. If it wasn't $40, I'd have tubs of it. That's all I'd use, tubs. Now, it's $40 a pint, and that's expensive. But, yeah, cage magic right there. The cages take up a lot of space. Yeah. What is your biggest beaver you ever trapped? Mine, personally, biggest beaver is, I think it's 56.5, I think, 56.5. And that was last year. Cage magic. Yes, cage magic. It's incredible. Like you smell it, like it's so good. Like you put a little bit, but you walk 20 feet away and you can still smell it. Like, it's incredible. I don't know what that guy puts in there, but man, is that stuff incredible. Good price for me. Yep, it's expensive. Now, my brother's on like a different income bracket than I am. Let's just put it that way, and he buys it. So, more power to him. If he buys it, he buys it. Let's put it this way: my brother is not a regional manager for banks, but like the local area manager for all the branches. Then my brother's girlfriend works for the bank too, so like they got money. So not a lot of money, but I mean they just bought a house 2 years ago. They're going to move out into a bigger house. So I mean, like they got money. I don't have. Cajun traps. Cajun cat traps are awesome. Nesting 3-pack is my go-to for bobcat trapping. I make a bobcat cage too, but mine is a swing door. His Argentine. Yes, and I saw somewhere, it might have been Outdoor Mike that I saw, but somewhere, it's probably an Outdoor Mike's page. I'm going to say it one more time. Probably Outdoor Mike's page or Outdoor Mike. But putting a rebar on the door so they slam shut faster. And lock. Dang, we are tied for biggest beaver. I got a 56 last year. Tear up my cage. Yeah. I mean, 330 Maniac just caught a 68 something, and I'm like, yeah, wow. I thought the 50s fill out the 330 trap pretty good. So I bought like 12-inch traps, 11 by 12 traps, big traps, and gonna try them this year. But I thought they filled out a 10 by 10 pretty well. Imagine a 60 or 70 pound or 80-pound beaver fill that thing. That thing couldn't fit his head in the trap. It's so big. I build my own cages. Too costly to buy them. Yeah. I mean, I know how to weld. You know, if I sat down and actually put my mind to it and started sitting there with the welder and rebar and tape and rebar cable and all that stuff, and just started messing with stuff and making a tripwire with cable, and just I could do all kinds of stuff. I could come up with something, but maybe I'm giving myself too much credit, but maybe not. I mean, I haven't really sat down and thought about stuff. If I put my mind to it and just sit there, mess with it for a few seasons, I'll have it down. But I'd rather buy them. What is this? Let's see. Where's mine? Our biggest is 74 pounds. Got 65 in a video last season. I think I saw that video. My dad actually sent me that video of 65. He's like, "Sure, the Dan just got a big one." And he sent it to me, so I watched it. Yeah, that's me. 3-part series on how to build the cages myself. Yeah. No. Yeah. Even if I didn't watch your videos, like I would still figure out some way, somehow, something. It'd take me a while, but I'd figure it out. What is that? Outdoor Mike's YouTube link. Click Outdoors Mike and go subscribe to Outdoor Mike. Nice. Thanks, big man. When my dad used to trap, his biggest beaver was 80 pounds, and I'm not joking. I know you're not joking, Corey. And 80, I believe it 100%. I think the biggest beaver on record is like 98, maybe, or 104. I can't remember, but massive. And I know people often tell fish stories like, my fish was so and so big. Like if you don't weigh it, you don't know. But I believe it. I mean, 80 pounds is big. I couldn't imagine. Imagine having to lug that around. Oh my gosh. Be so heavy. I'll check that out, Mike. What is on here? Oh, I do a video overview of my cages the other day, and I did a video overview of my cage the other day in my newest floating colony cage, like Mike Matney's traps. Awesome. It took some figuring to get those cages figured out, but like to tinker with stuff like that. Yeah, me too. I'm good at taking stuff apart. I'm never good at putting it back together. Well, I wasn't when I was younger, but I can put it back together now. But I'm good at like tinkering stuff. I used to take stuff apart all the time. So all the different mechanisms, I'd sit there and unscrew. Like the sprinkler system here, if I had it off, it was no good. Like when you use them, I'd still take it apart, look at the mechanism, look at like the circuit board and all this other stuff, and just all kinds of fun stuff. But I mean, half the time when I was younger, I'd just take something apart and not put it back together, and I'd get yelled at. So I can still picture myself getting yelled at. My parents were like, "You broke it, now we got to buy another one." I'm like, "Oh, yes, I did." You guys want to see anything? Boards, muskrat stretchers, anything? That's not a brain fart, so I mean, I'm looking for ideas. Look around real quick. Oh, I'll show you guys the Savage Joe how flimsy the triggers are on them. Right here. The dog spot. Hey, Backwoods Mindset. I was gonna say Backwoods Misfit, but it's Mindset. And Savage Joe, they're cool traps. They have the double bar, and that's how I got big. So when I went to reach for them, let's see, I went to how am I gonna show this? Went to reach for the second bar after squeezing it. Went to reach for the second one, and I slipped right. I literally slipped like right on the second one, and then I slipped and got caught. So I have small hands. I don't like double bars. Now I set them with the setters and squeeze them shut, and then put safety on and then work with them. But yeah, I slipped. Next time I'm gonna set them. Jesus, it's horrible. How am I gonna get this on video? So let's see right there. So I ended up setting them and missing the second bar. So I'm gonna grab my second bar setting. But then what happens is you squeeze them like this and lock it, your fingers get, geez, this is pain. Fingers get stuck in there. Like it's a narrow slot, so your fingers get. Jeez Louise, it's hard to show. But there's a double bar there. Fingers get stuck in there. The triggers, geez Louise, this is a pain. I haven't even thought about this. Move the lawnmower. But you'll watch this right here. They're flimsy. They're flimsy triggers. They're not thick. They're not strong. They're pretty much junky Savage Joe 220s. But it's what I have, and I set the trap down in it on top of the triggers and they bent. So that is what it is. I don't care. I'm gonna set them this year and see what happens. Where was I? Have you ever thought about collecting old traps? I thought about it, but sometimes they're just hard to get a hold of, and they cost a pretty penny. It took some figuring out to get the cages figured out, but tinkering stuff. I want to see tinkering. Look at my Glassifer truck videos. No fuel cost to run my trap line this year. No, that's awesome. I am building a coyote version next. Let's go and take some toying with the trigger to get the coyotes all the way in. Yeah. Coyote. They don't say they're cagey for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever thought about collecting old traps? Went over that. Hey y'all. I have old Victor trap. Yeah, old Victors are pretty cool. Problem with collecting old traps is people take a modern trap like this that they find in the woods that's rusted and be like, oh, here's a vintage trap. I'll sell it to you for $500 or whatever. Exaggerating, obviously, like $100, $75. It's vintage. You get it and you're like, this is a new trap that's rusted because metal rusts. So therefore, they're not vintage. People get scammed a lot like that. It's a single long spring. That's awesome. Replace the trigger wires. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know which ones to buy. I don't know. When they break, I will, and I guarantee you they're gonna break because they're flimsy. But gonna have to figure out how to get them out. I think I'm gonna drill them, and I have the drill to do it. But yeah, when I do it, I just don't know what bar stock is gonna be thickest. I'll have to ask around. Or it's bar stock that'll fit it, or trigger bar. The bar stock size to fit the trigger. That's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully it's a Blyle trigger and they'll just fit that on there, but it doesn't look as thick as a Blyle's. It looks a little thinner. Have you ever thought of putting heavier trigger wires on a trap that have light gauge wire triggers? See, that would be easy to do, except the fact that like some of them are a bit of a pain to do. I thought about it. If I have the wire to do it, if I really got down to nitty gritty, but a lot of them are riveted. So in order to do that, you'd have to re-rivet them, and it just becomes a pain. So like I have to drill the rivet out to get this. Oh, there we go. I have to drill the rivet out, so therefore I can't replace it. But I can screw it in. I can do all kinds of nuts and bolts, stuff like that. It's an idea. I use galvanized wire to make the triggers on number 12 electric fence wire nice and stiff, and can make them longer for cages since my cages use conduit triggers. Yeah, see, if I knew that triggers were that flimsy, I would have bought all RBGs or a different brand, all Blyles, in fact. Why not? But they'll work. They'll work. I mean, I'm going to make them work. If they don't work, I'll make them work. You watch. Small bolt set to replace the rivets. Yeah. I just weld it back on. Yeah, that works too. But they're flimsy. It is what it is. I don't know why they consider them the best traps made next to the Blyles, but and RBGs, but and so apparently the only flimsy ones are the 220s, and that's the size that I needed. And people in Canada don't use a lot of 220s, and I was like, well, bought them, and then stuck with them. Don't be like me and buy something without buying one and then looking at it and then buying more. Don't be like me. Don't just buy a dozen just to buy a dozen. Somebody said they're cool or whatever. It is what it is. We're gonna put this trap back. I'm definitely putting it out there. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna test them. I got a spot for it. Now, the other thing on the Savage Joe is the trigger. The spring eyes are small, as you can see. Spring eyes are small in the Savage Joes compared to other ones. The spring eyes are real small. Come on, bring that down. Yesterday, I talked to myself. You hear me talk to myself. I was like, set that down, blah, 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 blah. You know, who doesn't talk to himself? As long as you not have it full on, full blown conversation with yourself, you will be all right. When you have a conversation with yourself and start answering yourself, there might be a slight bit of a problem. It's more I talk when I do stuff. I kind of mumble because it keeps me kind of in sync and on track. Let's see what else is there. I might get off here. It's been an hour. What else is there? You guys want to see any lures or anything? There's 4 of you in here. I don't want to just abandon you, but I don't think I'd be abandoning you anyways. I'll come back another day. But if you guys want to see anything, do you have any? Isn't that what we do in YouTubers? What? They're abandoning each. Oh, talk to each other. Ah, yes, yeah. I mean, it's being single and single for many years. It's a lonely life. Let's just put it that way. Just imagine how many mountain men out there, out in back in the day, were sitting in their shack just talking away to themselves because they have nothing else to do. But I'm trying to make it sound somewhat normal. Of course, I talk to myself. Sometimes I need expert advice. Exactly. We know the best advice when we talk to ourselves. How's muskrat love working? Well, I put it out. It's not in a spot that's necessarily a spot with muskrat. It's more I just put out just to try it out. It's not in a high percentage area. It's basically set in a roadblock or a blockage, so it's not really ideal. So I haven't caught anything with it. I haven't caught necessarily with it in the fashion that the muskrat love drawing them in. Now I put it out and caught, but that's not because muskrats. That was because they're flowing through. But so you can say I caught with it. I post a picture with it on there because technically I had it out when I caught. But when I go mid-December or so, when I go out to the property out here and put them out, that's when I'm going to be using lures heavily and drawing them in, especially after we get through a few, maybe a month, I'll put them out in. That's when they're going to be effective. Definitely going to make a difference. I know they make a difference because when the apple's gone, you just literally take it, stick it on the trigger, and it'll work that way. But yeah, it works. I know it works. I have no doubts about it. How was your fishing season this year? Fishing season? Fishing for what? All the salmon is still dead. Joking, but there's a lot of chum around the North Coast rivers, Wilson River, Kilson River. There's a lot of chums around. People that I know that have been down there when we flooded a couple weeks ago, they literally saw the day before the flood, all the fish shot up river. They saw them shooting through the rapids just like crazy. They knew it was coming. They all shot up river. All the salmon, king salmon and stuff like that, Chinook salmon. There's a lot of chum still around. Now, chum salmon aren't a type of fish to go way up into the river system, like way high, like Chinook will. So they, and in Oregon, you have to release all chum salmon. I think you're in Oregon, so you have to release them all. But plenty of chum around, not a lot of Chinook around. Now, there's a lot of dying salmon, too, because, it's getting towards the end of the season, and a lot of smelly, rotten salmon swimming. They're not even rolling right now. They're just kind of like breach. When they're dying, they just breach. They're not even like rolling. They're just breaching and going upriver, slowly dying. But there's not a lot of them around right now. Now, the Wilson rivers I fish mainly, and I'll say that on here because what the heck. Now, online, you hear me a lot be like, I'm not giving you a spot or I delete comments about it. But you go into my messengers and I'll be like, yeah, sure. Here's the report I have. Here's what happened last time I was there. Or know somebody that was there. Like, I'll give you help. I'll help you. I'm just against publicly blasting it in a group with 20,000 people. It's kind of doesn't need any more publicity. Now, nothing wrong with outdoor GPS. I like the show, but at times I felt like it was focusing on those rivers versus home rivers, and it blew up the rivers quite a bit. But nothing against the show. I like the show a lot. Actually, they actually went out to my dad's work and did a show a few years ago during the tournament. Do you make any of your own lure? So here's the deal about that. I was gonna just make it take a Vaseline base, take some Vaseline, get a lure, make sure, put a bunch of peppermint, maybe some apple oil or peppermint and cherry, different lures like that, mix it up and then put that out. But I haven't done it yet. It's about as simple as it gets. But I might try it. I also thought about taking some toothpaste, getting a bunch of toothpaste jars, squirting it into a big one of those tahini, or not tahini, but tahani, or the gelato containers, and putting a bunch of toothpaste in, putting oil in there, mixing it up, and trying that. But I got a couple of different ideas I might try, and I'll do videos on it if I do it. Definitely feel like screwing around with it a bit. Outdoors with Big Matt. Check out Outdoors with Big Matt. I'm out, guys. Need to go cut up wood to fuel my truck for tomorrow's commute. Trapping. Awesome. I actually got the comment today that out of my dad's work that they got a bunch of firewood out there for me split. So I'm going to be doing that soon. I'm probably not going to film it. My form is horrible, absolutely atrocious. But I've split wood. I've split rounds, probably 24 inches across or bigger, frozen. But you know, splitting frozen wood's tough. But when you split it, it just splits. I would argue it's almost easier. But oak, stuff like that out there. But Dad like said, oh, it's cottonwood, and I'm like, you sure? But he knows his trees, so I'm not gonna argue with him. But I got wood split out there too. Night, Marcus. I do live in. Yeah, I thought so. Don't you live down south of Portland? 20 minutes west of Portland, so I'm in Hillsboro. I thought you did, if I remember correctly. Judith and Dan's YouTube, check them out. They're great. Yeah. Cordon, any other questions about fishing you have? I'm more than willing to help you. Like bead colors, beads, stuff like that. Anything you want? Yeah, that's I was gonna drop. I'm gonna say down like Celeste, down Coos Bay area, but I wasn't gonna like drop that area. But yeah, I figured down there a little bit. Down past Lincoln City, down there. You're more on the south coast, and I'm more on the north coast. I've seen you more than a few times in the groups, like a lot. So like when I first saw your name pop up, I do this with everybody, not just you, but I looked on your Facebook and it said Coos Bay, so I kind of get an idea where people are. And part of my group, when people try to join my group, I kind of do a quick scour through the profile to see if there's scammers, see if there's multiple different Facebook pictures of different people. So I kind of scan the profile, not to stalk the person, but to gauge whether they're a fit for the group or not, so I don't have a bunch of spam and problems in the group. That's what the majority of my admins do. We look for either a fish photo, the same profile picture, and an account that's longer than at least a year and a half old. And we have a few rules like that we do, that we look for in order for the people to fit into the group. If not, we don't let them in. It used to be that if they don't have a profile picture and they aren't, have at least a fish photo, we won't let them in. But we do a little more in depth now, because since that group of mine went to 20K, we got to do more thorough investigation. Now, one of my admins, he's doing a good job, but he has a lot on his plate. But seems like every time he adds two people and denies the person, adds two people, denies the person. I'm starting to see a pattern, and I'm starting to wonder if he's actually looking or he's just randomly deleting requests. I don't know, but that's a whole nother matter. Outdoors with Big Matt, right there. So yeah, in my groups. There's a lot that goes into them, but lots that goes into them. Lots of background work that people are like, I'm mad because you deleted something or this or that, and I'm like, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that goes in. Then there's people don't even realize, like with groups on Facebook, you have to, when there's an argument or what's going on, and you coming from the outside, you have to either delete both people's comments and just put them both in timeout, or pick one or the other. But when you pick one or the other, and the other person comes in, then you realize you're wrong, then it's done. So you usually just put two people in timeout and let it go. But you still end up taking one of them off, because one of them's right, one of them's wrong. So it's exhausting. It's exhausting, but it is what it is. Outdoors with Big Matt. So I'm going to get off here, unless you guys have more questions. I'm going to go inside, watch some TV. No idea what time it is, but I got it. I just thought I'd stop in here to say hi to you guys, see what's going on. But I thought I owed you guys a live feed, so I'm here. But I'm going to get off now. Have a good one, guys. Wait, what's this? Or you just have to shut down the comments to the post. Yeah, exactly. Or you need to shut down the comments to the post. And only bad thing about that is it messes with the statistics, whereas you want activity, but if you shut the comments off, it limits activity, so it's hard. The most recent thing they came out with is you can limit the comments to one comment every 5 minutes per person. So if I comment right now, I have to wait 5 minutes before I comment again. So it kind of keeps it civilized. If people don't react on emotion, they have time to like think about it a little bit. I do that on quite a few posts that I feel like I'm going to have some turmoil or potentially there's going to be some argument. I'll limit the commenting to one comment per 5 minutes. So, I mean, it forces people to think about it. And if they're really heated, mad, by the time 5 minutes up, they either go do something else or, they're cooled off and they can actually reply. Now, if they're so heated after 5 minutes, they're going back and forth. Usually 5 minutes for one comment, other person comments, and they both wait 5 minutes. And if they're out of sync, then it's 5 minutes and 10 minutes before the person gets a reply. So, I mean, it usually mellows things down, but that's one of my things I do now. But, I mean, people still get mad. People get mad because, when you're dealing with 20,000 people, if it's not their way, it's the highway. And, 20,000 people have one of them have a different opinion. So, I mean, never going to make everybody happy. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. No. Because you've probably seen it where you can put limit to one comment per 5 minutes. So, like I said, one person comments 5 minutes, and another person comments 5 minutes, and whether they're heated or not, they have time to think about it before they reply. They aren't just reacting on emotion. And that's probably one of the biggest issues with Facebook is that I look at Facebook as it's a platform to have a conversation, but it's just a toxic argumentative type thing. And that's why I like Instagram. There's not a lot of arguing on there. In fact, there's hardly ever arguing. I don't think I've ever really had someone have a full-blown conversation in comments on Instagram. It's kind of good. But yeah, that's one of the things I do. I had a thought. What was I thinking? What was my thought? Oh man, I lost my train of thought. I had a thought mid-sentence when I was talking to you. You know how people post, like, someone posted on Trapping Talk today. Now, nothing wrong with Trapping Talk. The admins do an amazing job. Brings quite a few admins. But someone shot a raccoon in the forehead right here, and there's blood coming down. And I wouldn't have allowed that post just because, all it takes is one person to slip through your fingers, grab a hold of that, and just post on every anti-page out there, and it just gives them more reason to ban us. Now, there's fishing, there's certain things to watch for, and trapping is a whole other thing to watch for. Each group has its own little quirks and things to do. I started a group, we haven't even hit 100 people yet, but I'm sure we have those problems. Yeah, I'm in your group. I'm actually in Facebook jail for 9 more days. I was in for 30 days because someone said, we were arguing about gas prices, and he was like, I remember when it was $5 a gallon. I said, prove to me that anywhere that was $5 a gallon. He could not prove it. I said, last time someone tried to prove that to me, and they tried, and they were a liberal, and they were wrong, and they couldn't prove it. He reported me, and I got sentenced for 30 days. So basically I told he couldn't prove it, and the last guy couldn't prove it. So when he got into the conversation, boom, he was wrong right away. I knew it. And he didn't like it very much. And I went on his profile and looked, and Mr. Poetry there and his, activism. So I kind of argued with the wrong person. They straight up got offended, and right to Facebook jail I went. But I saved the conversation, so I can go back and be like, you got mad at my reply simply for answering asking a question. You reported me, just kind of go along with what was happening and be like, so, you reported me because this and that, and he's going to get on there and be like, when? And I'm like, you remember 30 days ago? Yeah, I remembered your booty, your ass, and I'm back to talk to you again. I'll probably get sent back for 30 more days, but who cares? It's worth it. This guy's never mind, he's a piece of work. I saw that. Yeah, it would be bad publicity. Yeah. Now, God forbid, Jeff Dunlap, Sarah Gomez, Jeff Haggerty, they're admins on there. So I'm sure that they have way more experience than we do, and their group's bigger. So I'm sure they have a reason. And you know what? I'm not going to argue with the reason because it's their group. And even though I didn't like their opinion, you know what? It's Jeff Dunlap. And believe it or not, I actually have his cell phone number. He straight up called me on his cell phone number, and I text him once in a while. So I have no problem with it. You know what? I'm not going to be like, you're wrong. Now I'm not going to get an argument because it's Jeff Dunlap. Are you going to really tell a professional trapper that's been trapping his whole dang life and his dad is a trapper that he's wrong? No. But guess what? He's not wrong. He has a reason for it. And who am I to argue with his reason, right? Why why fight battles when you don't have to, when there's obviously a good reason for it. So yeah, no, nothing, never ever have anything ever against Jeff Dillon and Sarah Gomez. Absolutely amazing people. They've spoiled the hell out of me with stuff. They've helped me. Oh man, they're great people. Not a bad thing to say about them at all. It was like $5 in South Dakota. So yeah, but see, he couldn't have come up with an article saying it was $5. And this was 30 days ago, and he couldn't prove it. And I was like, he came up with is, he came up with $3.99 was the highest price. And I'm thinking, really, and I got on there like that's still $1 away from what, or $2. Yeah, it's still $1 roughly away from what you accused me of what it was. Because your agenda says, gas prices aren't that bad because your, political field says it's not. And he couldn't prove it. And I was like, it's still a whole $1 away. And every gallon's $1. That adds up quick, doesn't it? And they didn't like it. They didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. Well, that was under Obama. Exactly. And I asked, since when was in the last presidency, when was it that, and he was like, couldn't prove it. We can't prove it right now, even. He couldn't prove it was that bad. And I was like, it's bad. It's really bad. But I don't know, I'm getting into politics, but have you seen the latest Pete Buttigieg, what he's trying to do? He's trying to get like all electric, and like he's basically saying that poor people either buy electric or you're out. And what he's basically doing is like poor people, when all they can do is like have no money. No, that sounded wrong. What I'm trying to say is when poor people have no money, he's trying to feed the poor people a cake when all they can feed on is bread. When you give someone bread to the poor, he's trying to make them feed on a cake. You can't afford a cake all the time when you're poor. What do you think? No. Hell, I can't afford an electric car. He wants everybody to have an electric car. Either that or you're out. And I'm thinking, what the hell? Okay, I'm getting off topic. But, the price of electric cars like the price of like a Tesla. So basically the government said, Tesla came out with an electric car, but the government's undercutting Tesla basically to make all American car dealerships make electric cars and discrediting Tesla for coming out with electric cars and all that stuff. So basically want Americans credit without giving Tesla it, because Elon Musk is not really like liberal enough for them. So he's pushing the government's trying to discredit him. I didn't mean to get off topic. Big deal. Nope, it's just a page at the end of the day. Yeah. I really didn't mean to. ADHD and ADD, you get off on a tangent, it just goes deeper, 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 and deeper, and deeper, the hole. It just keep digging. So big deal. Yes, I have heard that, and I've seen that out. Yeah, I don't need to get into politics. I need to stay away from politics. I mean, shit. Pardon the French, but if anybody can dig to China once they get off top, get someone with ADD and ADHD, they're digging until they hit China. Either that or they hit the molten core of the earth and melts to death. Oh, got it. Oh my gosh. I do it all the time. Yeah. What can you do? It happens. Man, we made 18 minutes when I thought it was done. Interesting. Oh, yeah. I do all. Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm just going to figure out something with the back to the beginning of the muskrat boards. I'm not too worried about it right now, but it is what it is. Oh, I'm going to throw my email out there if anybody wants to email me. It's Anthony Rubio, and Rubio is spelled with the E-O. It's from Italy. It's anthonyrubio@gmail.com. If you guys have any questions, comments, or anything you want to personally email me stuff, send me stuff like a P.O. box type thing or anything, let me know. I have an email. I have an address. Now, I'm not going to give you – now, I don't have a P.O. box, but I have a personal address. And you email me, I'll give you my personal address, and you send stuff to me if you want. If you want to review anything, anything. We're open to doing it. And once again, that's Anthony Rubio outdoors@gmail.com. So if you guys have any comments, questions, don't like anything, you have any suggestions on how to edit stuff or do anything, I'm open. I'm all ears. I'm here to learn with you, we can learn together. So All right, I'm gonna get off now. Have a good one, guys. I look forward to seeing all you guys' uploads and stuff. I try to upload every once in a while. I try to get something out. I try to make it where if I upload something, it's just something. It's not always going to be the best content. Just trying to get something in front of you guys' face for you to watch. I know I started uploading on this channel because when I started uploading, nobody else was really trapping, nobody was uploading, so I wanted to just get something out there for people to watch because I got sick of having no trapping content to watch, just old content, so I started uploading. That's kind of why I got into it, kind of why I got into the YouTube stuff. Just for fun. I'm no expert. I'm not Flair. I'm not Trapper J. I'm not Iowa Trapper. I'm no expert. I just do it to have fun. All right. Let's see. Have a good night. Glad I cut live. Yeah, I appreciate you being in here. I appreciate all the people being in here. Have a good one, guys.